Christine. See, I did it again. All I ever do is
Stop doing that.
I can't stop it. But I did have a thing to announce to you. I think that was my way of trying to like beat you to the punch. First of all, happy February.
It's just why February? Come on, people.
February. Happy Feb. Also, I need to tell you, we were just recording another episode. And as we were recording it, I heard like someone like pounding on the door.
What?
Not on the troll hole door, but on the apartment door.
Oh.
I heard someone banging and I was like, I don't know what that is. It's probably like mail or something, but it was a really aggressive bang. And I would have usually gotten up to open it, but Allison's here. So I didn't hear the banging anymore. So I was like, oh, she must have gotten it. Apparently I got a text shortly after that, which I only read just now, that said, what did it say? It says, you missed a visit by the Fuzz.
Huh?
The Johnny 5-0 apparently made an appearance at the Schultz Fourth Manor today. And apparently it was to ask us if we noticed anything, because the other night, Allison and I were up until like 2 or 3 in the morning. We had taken a very long nap during the day, so we ended up pulling a middle of the night situation. And we went out until like 2 in the morning. And when we were coming back, I guess someone followed us into our building and we didn't even notice, which terrifies me.
Oh my God.
And apparently he stole like a bunch of packages.
So just followed you to get inside the building, basically.
Thank God. But yeah. Straight up followed us and, like on foot. And like, because we live in like a gated apartment, and I guess he must have been waiting near the gate for someone to open it up, and we drove in.
Oh my Lord, that's scary.
Yeah, freaked me out.
I never knew what to do in those scenarios, because it's like, you know, they say, like, I remember in college they were like, don't like hold the door for people, but it's also like, I'm not gonna slam it in someone's face and be like, prove that you live here. Like, I don't want to be that guy, you know. So it's like, how do you even handle that? That's hard. Wow, that's scary though. I mean,
it's scary that I didn't even notice that like someone was like, it could have been someone much worse. And
well,
then
I mean, thank God it was just the packages.
Well, I guess Allison said that I couldn't come out and answer anything because I was in the middle of recording my true crime podcast, and the cop was like, oh, well, tell them that there is a Burbank cold case that we just solved with genetics.
Sorry, is this like fucking the newest like HBO comedy show, like comedy?
It's like, are we murders
series?
in the building? Yeah,
that's the one I'm thinking. I'm like, am I Selena Gomez? What's happening? That is so weird.
Anyway, if you wanted to look up solved Burbank cold case, apparently they just solved it, and he was very excited for someone to talk about it. So
well, I mean, I'm thrilled that he was like, hey, guess what?
I know. I'm wondering if he's the one who solved it, and he's like, oh, someone should report this immediately.
Yeah, ask Al what his name was, because I've already got the article up. So
perfect.
This is,
okay,
of course, just horribly sad.
Okay, never mind.
Cool, great. I mean, of course, it was going to be
for your discretion.
Yeah, just FYI. But wowza! But I mean, this happened in the 80s, and they put him away. Thank God.
Wow. Anyway, that's your fun fact. Your February fun fact.
Wowza! Well, that was quite. Imagine if we knew. Like, imagine if you had a Ring doorbell and like you just looked down and there was like police at the door. You'd be like, I know you're telling a story right now, Christine, but like. There's a situation.
I would be like, thank God, because I'm like so fearful of all that nonsense. I was like, thank God we're recording right now. Like, don't go anywhere while I answer. I feel like
I would have been like, pick up the laptop and walk over there.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got it recording. I want to know.
Held you in front of them, and you'd be like, I would have been like,
show
officer?
me your badge number. Oh God! Wow, what a day you're having already, Em.
I know. Anyway, now my like personal fear is like, what if the guy who followed us in now was dressed as a cop and just knocked on our door? That freaks me out. Of like, what if he's the bad guy all along?
That's why you asked for his badge number. I just told you.
You are right. Anyway, with that, that's the first story everyone's getting from us this month. How was
ultimate
January for you, Christine?
listener story. It was great. We kicked off tour. It was fun. We had fun. We traveled.
Had
It
fun?
felt like we had fun. It felt like things were really back to, I don't want to say back to normal, but like, back to the old grind of touring and flying and all that nonsense. How about you?
How about me? It feels like things are kind of moving and grooving the right way. Although I will say the tour, even though the tour itself, the being on stage part was much better than I expected it to go, the other parts were much worse than I expected them to go.
Right, fair point.
And I had me and Eva had the worst food poisoning we've ever had in our entire lives. And honestly, I think the reason our first show of the tour went so well, like in terms of like my fear, my stage fright, I didn't even have time to think about stage fright.
No.
So I was so worried about like pooping myself in front of
I'm so glad
an audience of people.
You said that, because putting that bacteria in your food was a really hard decision for me to make. But I figured, how else can I get Em over? And Eva was just collateral damage.
Yeah, she took a bite of mine by accident. And you were like,
I
no.
needed it to be realistic. Okay,
it was
so. When you said a cop showed up at your door, I thought, "Uh-oh, they're on to me." But thankfully, it was not.
There she is, officer.
Yeah, no. In all seriousness, they had terrible food poisoning. It was horrendous because our flight, I got picked up for the airport at 5:45 a.m. Then the Uber went and picked them up at the airport, and M came down and said, "Don't speak to me." And then Eva was nowhere, and we thought, this can't be good. And so then
Eva couldn't even make it down. Like, we were supposed to leave by like 5:40 in the morning, and the car came to get us at exactly 5:40, and Eva didn't even come down until 6.
No,
like, she was just she couldn't move.
That's Eva, folks. Like, that's something's wrong. So Eva texts me and is like, "Can you come up and help me, please?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this is really bad." So I go up, and of course, thankfully, the guy at the front desk is like, "I'm not letting you up to someone's room." And I was like, that's the correct answer. Thank you. But also, please call her. So he called her, and then they let me up. And then Eva was like, "I can't close my suitcase." And I was like, "Oh,
so
darling."
pitiful.
Oh, it was just like,
and she was
oh
about
my God.
And just so everyone knows, Eva on average travels with 3 pieces of luggage at least. And so the fact that she couldn't even close one, but she was about to have to drag 3 of them through an airport. And then,
that's like because of us, not like she's like high maintenance and has like a bag of shoes that she brings with her. It's like all our shit, like all our bullshit, our tour
in
stuff.
total, we usually travel with 8 to 10 pieces of luggage.
It's insanity.
The 3 of us.
So we're like, I'm like, oh my God, let's get to the fucking airport. And then how are we going to even get on a plane? And Eva and I both have really like motion sickness issues. So we're on this plane, and I'm like between Em and Eva, and I'm like kind of glancing back and forth, and we hit turbulence, and I'm like, listen,
Eva's going
I'm
down.
here. I was like, one of you two is going down. And I mean, listen, I was very fortunate. I was not struck down by this food poisoning. One of us needed to like go get the rental car and like,
and this is where I say on this February eve of this February 1st, Christine, you're the winner of January, because you really handled it when we needed you the most. We're talking about Eva a lot. That poor girl, like the fact that like she still had to work backstage at the first show, and like in between like answering tech questions and stuff, would just like sprint to the bathroom. Like, I
vomit. Yeah.
I was the opposite, where at least I wasn't throwing up, but it was hurting in other ways, if you catch my drift. And it was, I really was prepared. I thought about Instacarting adult diapers to our first show. I was like, I mean, it was so miserable. And it was like, it wasn't even like it would just hit you randomly. It was like my stomach I was doubled over.
Like you didn't even get to sleep because of it. So on top of it,
I never went to sleep. Our Philly show, I hadn't slept that night because I had to run to the bathroom like every 10 minutes. And my goal, I was like trying to space out the intervals. I was like, just keep it together for 15 minutes. Just keep it for 15. And I think the best we got was 17 minutes, but I was sick.
It was a noble pursuit.
Oh my God, it was so bad. And then I still felt sick like through the whole tour. I wasn't feeling good, but Philly was a rough day.
Yeah, and you really did like do the good compartmentalization of, welp, got no time to focus on being nervous. Let's just fucking
Exactly.
knock
I
it
was
out
like,
of the park.
I was like, I'm not even nervous about fainting. I'm nervous about everyone witnessing
like-
a really awful
It's like that thing that
thing.
makes me want to scream when my stepdad used to say, like, if I'd be like, oh, my leg hurts, he'd be like, you want me to hit you on the other leg so you
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
about like that bullshit? Like, that's what happened to you in real life.
That was God being like, want me to make you have explosive
Want me to
situations
punch you
instead?
in the guts real quick? Yeah.
Oh, it was so
yeah.
foul. Like I was. So I think that helped with the rest of the leg because I was like, honestly, the fact that I feel better today and I didn't pass out on the worst version of this, like maybe today's better, maybe tomorrow's
I
better.
mean, you really pulled through, both of you, and I just didn't even. I mean, there was nothing I could do. I was just helpless. But I'm so glad that it ended as quickly as it did, because Eva was telling me horror stories of a friend who had some thing for weeks and months, and I was like, oh God, I'm so glad you guys are better. So, if you're still hoping to see us soon live, or you're planning to, know that we'll at least be in better, hopefully a better place.
I was so proud of myself for getting through like an hour and a half, like sitting on stage and not having to run to the bathroom. But I thought for sure that was going to be the day. So, yeah, if you want to see me in an even better mood, you can do that.
Only
if you come
up
to
from
our
here.
future shows. Yeah. And with that, that's my hope for February is that I don't have any tummy problems like I did in January.
Yeah, let's just say let's
The
leave
toilet
it in the past.
The
The toilet, let's leave the potty problems in the past.
The potty in the past. Yeah. Okay, well, we've got some stories to tell you guys that are much less grotesque than that. Thank you, Eva, for picking them for us. We have 3 and 3. So do you want to go first or me this time, Christine?
Why don't you go first?
The first one is written by Stephanie, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns, Stephanie. And Stephanie's subject line is third man syndrome and the elevator. And then in parentheses, it says, or I just realized 25 years later what I experienced. So I'm thinking our third man syndrome episode recently gave an awakening to Stephanie.
Well,
That's
you
where I think
saw that post, right, on Slack? This is why sometimes you really got to get in there, because I tag you in the things that are important. Megan shared a BuzzFeed article. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that.
That said it was inspired by your episode.
Yeah, and then the writer of the article DM'd me on Insta too.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're really talk about awakenings, man. You are that struck a nerve.
Apparently so, yeah. At least to 2 people, so I'm happy about that. Stephanie says, hello, Eva, Christine. My name is Stephanie, she, her, and I just started listening to episode 360 about the third man syndrome, and I immediately went, oh my God, I've experienced that. And as Stephanie's writing this, Stephanie has not finished the episode yet, so immediately felt the need to say something to us. And Stephanie says, rewind the clock back to 1999 or 2000. I was in college and I was visiting my friend at school since I was on break. Since this person and I are no longer friends, drama, I'll just call them X. Okay.
Teen Schiefer. Uh-oh.
Oh, I was thinking more like X is like your ex friend. But yes, X Teen Schiefer I meant
of course.
X and I were heading back up to her dorm room, and we decided to take the elevator because she was on the 3rd or 4th floor. The elevator doors started to close, so X put her hand in it to stop it. Well, it did not stop, and the outer door closed on her hand. Oh my God.
That's a nightmare already.
Which now my fear too is if the door closes on your hand and the elevator thinks like we're all good to go, are you going to get pulled? Like your hand's going to get ripped off. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. We tried to get the elevator to open, but it wouldn't. Someone ran upstairs to try to send it back down while someone else called the police and fire department. A few guys tried to pry the door open with no luck, and my job was to keep X calm. This random guy walked around the corner, though, and offered to help. And with his help, they were able to open the door enough to get her hand out. We turned to thank him, and he was gone. No one ever saw him. She and I visited the ER with only bruising, and coincidentally, the second time I've ridden on the back of a police car without being arrested. I love that. I love the drama that you're leaving out of these stories.
I love this. X sounds like trouble in the best way.
X sounds like you will always have a story next to X.
Like some sort of connection, yeah.
We always chalked it up to being her guardian angel. Listening to the podcast today made me remember this. Also, Christine, my friend perforated her eardrum with a Q-tip, and
I told you. Trouble.
And I still use them to clean my ear. I'll never learn. Stay safe. The irony of writing "stay safe" after that.
Yeah,
Stephanie.
You too. Likewise. Probably
P.S.
more so.
P.S. October Scorpios are the best. And so I think you just wanted me to say that out loud, but I didn't mean it. I just want everyone to know I was saying what Stephanie said.
And was crossing their fingers when they said that. So.
Yeah.
Wowza. Okay, so we got like a dorm room RA ghost or a college guardian angel. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's creepy.
And you know what freaks me out about the third man syndrome too is that like, are they coming because if they didn't show up, you would actually fucking die?
That's a great point. Like, was it really that bad of an emergency that they were like, I need to stop this from happening? Like, stop fate or stop change fate?
I've been in some pretty gnarly situations and no one ever fucking showed up third man wise for me. And I survived them. So I'm like, if I didn't, is that when I got to be worried? Like, am I in the beginnings of crossing into a realm where I can see these people, you know?
Whoa. So yeah. Who knows what the real outcome would have been?
I know.
Horrible. I mean, that's a nightmare to get your arm or limb stuck in an elevator door.
I'd be screaming. I mean, there's no way I would have kept calm.
Elevators are one of those things where when people say they have a fear of elevators, like a phobia, I'm like, I get it. Like, I don't, but I get it. And
I'm mad at myself for not having one because it's against nature to even be in an elevator.
Yeah. Or like a fear of heights. I'm like, these things make a lot of sense. So I don't critique them at all. I mean, Eva just texted me the other day saying apparently she had forgotten, but when she was little, she had like a debilitating fear of elevators. And she said it was because one time she ran away from her parents. I wonder if that's why she picked that story. She said one time she ran away from her parents and like ended up on an elevator or something, or that's at least what her sister said. And that's why she thinks she had that fear for a long time.
That's so sad.
It is so scary.
Yeah.
So, I get it. Okay, so this is another submission. Oh my God. Okay, wait. This one's also called My Own Third Man Syndrome Story, Em. You're really
what the hell?
Causing a ruckus here, okay?
All right, I guess we've got ourselves a theme, I think.
Got a theme. This is from Maddie, she, her. It says, hello to the whole ATWWD gang. My name is Maddie, she, her, and I have my own third man syndrome story that still shakes me up when I think about it. When I was 12, I was in a really bad car accident. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Please, everyone, wear a seatbelt. Thank you, Maddie. Mm-hmm. Please, folks.
Thank you for normalizing seatbelts.
Thank you. It needs to be said. I had been thrown into the windshield and I broke the windshield with my face.
Oh my God.
Broke my back. Punctured a lung, cut my spleen, and had 27 stitches on the bridge of my nose and forehead. Holy
I don't know which of those
shit.
Was like in a fuck, marry, kill situation with all of those injuries. All of those sounded. There's not one I would prefer over the other. All of those were horrible.
It's all fucking terrifying.
Oh my God.
She said, anyway, I was kind of a bloody mess and I blacked out in the wreck. I woke up in the
just to ignore the pain, I hope.
I know. That's when our bodies are like, let's not remember this part.
That's when the laptop just reboots itself. It's like,
the rainbow spinning wheel comes on and you're like, cool, we're gonna just freeze.
We're overheating. It's time to be done. Yeah.
I woke up in the ditch on this secluded country road and I was pacing back and forth crying while blood was pouring from my face.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck? As I had turned around to continue my pacing, a man was suddenly standing there and he shoved a washcloth in my face and walked away. I didn't.
What an aggressive guardian angel. Like, put this on your fucking face, you dirty,
Don't tell
bloody
anyone
monster.
I was here.
You
Clean
look disgusting. I had to come down from heaven to clean you.
Clean yourself
You're
up
embarrassing me. They're looking at all my clients today. It's performance review
clients.
day. You look so bad. Take this washcloth.
Get it together, little girl. I didn't think anything of it other than maybe someone had stopped to help. While I was trying to stop the bleeding in my face, I looked down and noticed my knee was also bleeding like crazy. I saw the man sitting in his truck and I walked up to him. And for some reason, when I got to him, I felt calm and I said, "Excuse me, sir, do you have another washcloth for my knee?" This is wild.
This feels like a fever dream because no one would ever approach a strange man in a truck at all. But I guess you're already such a mess.
Well, you're in an emergency and he just helped you. He didn't say a word and just handed me another washcloth, and I walked away to sit on the side of the road and wait for help. Ambulance arrived and I was put in a stretcher, and while the EMT was putting my neck brace on and hooking up the oxygen, think about her pacing back and forth, and she has broken her back, by the way. Just
I've already thought
what is
thought
happening?
about it. I'm like, the adrenaline is out of control.
It must be surging. Okay. And hooking up the oxygen, she asked me where I got the washcloth, and I told her the man in the truck who stopped to help us. She gave me a weird look like she had no idea what I was talking about. I was admitted to the ER and was there for a few days. When I got out of the hospital, I told my parents about this man, and they wanted to thank him for helping me, but I had no idea who he was. I called the people I was in the car accident with and asked if they, by chance, got his name, and they were like, "What are you talking about? No one was there with us." My heart sank to my stomach. I adamantly told them, "You have to remember him. He was in a white shirt." It's always a white shirt, Em.
Always in white.
He was in a white shirt, blue jeans, a cowboy hat, and was driving the white work truck. They both told me no one was at the scene of the accident other than the paramedics that showed up. Even 15 years later, I've asked them about it, and they still do not know what I'm talking about. I assume maybe it was some sort of guardian angel, but after listening to the episode on Third Man Syndrome, I realized that's what it must have been. I just wanted to share my story with you all. You guys are the best, and I look forward to the episodes coming out every week. Wow.
Well,
I'm glad you're okay, Maddie. That's fucking terrifying.
The way I would have saved that washcloth and like sewn it into like
Proof.
a little like
Yeah.
I would have kept it as like a tchotchke. I would have put it somewhere and like held onto it. Like I don't know what I would have done with that thing, but there's no throwing that washcloth away. But I feel like that has to be there's something eerie about it on either end of the spectrum, because either there's a grown-ass man who just watched you fly through a windshield with a broken back
A little
and
girl,
didn't
by the way.
react.
Yeah.
Didn't react more than just give you a washcloth without saying, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Or it's so like in that way, if he's human, that's a weird fucking behavior to have. And if
Agreed.
it's a spirit, that's also weird. Like neither way, there didn't seem to be like an emotional urgency for you.
Yeah,
It
the
was-
only thing that I guess like strikes me is that she said she was very calm in his presence. So I wonder if it was more just like his energy was calming, and that
maybe
was all
he was like,
needed to
match
do.
my energy. Don't
Yeah.
overreact. Which is,
But
I mean, that
also-
happened when I saw my grandpa. Like I had a really weird
yeah.
calming effect that I can still. It felt so different than just being calm. It felt like it was
Yeah.
forced upon me.
Because it was like, "Oh, you're seeing a ghost." Well, naturally you'd freak out, but people report feeling very calmed, as if somebody had like washed them with calmness to like prevent them from freaking out. But I also wonder, like, third man wise, like you were in this terrible accident and stuff, but like, I mean, I know he handed you a washcloth, but like, was he just there to watch? Like, what was he doing?
Like what was the vibe?
Like,
Was like,
I mean, I guess maybe to comfort you, maybe like he somehow saved your life before the washcloth and you just didn't know, or I don't know. It's just, that's a really creepy one though.
he was like on alert just in case you needed him. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Do you have another washcloth for my knee, sir? As your broken back 12-year-old
I'd
girl
be like,
comes
do
up.
you happen, since you have a Mary Poppins bag of heaven
Yeah.
sent items, do you have an ambulance you could spot me? Do you have some
a wee
fucking-
bandage? Do you have a wee bandage in there for my
Do
spleen?
you have
'Cause I ruptured
morphine
it in-
and dilaudid and all this
Do you
other
have-
shit, please?
This poor girl, man. 12 is so little. Oh God, Maddie. I'm glad you're okay. That's all.
But also, like, how cool is it that, like, maybe I wonder, is the third man your guardian angel? Like, or is it just like a random one who like spotted you and like he was there to pay attention
Is
to
it
someone else? But
personal, or is
Yeah.
it like, which I feel like you talked about in the Third Man episode, like, is it like a group of beings that are just ready, or is it like you're assigned to one person.
Like it's
or
almost
spirit.
like, are you like in guardian angel worlds, is there like a department that are just like part of ER trauma or whatever, where
right,
it's
like car crashes or whatever. Yeah,
like they're not
or
yours,
is
but they're
he just like new on the job and they're like, we'll give you the washcloth task, and he's like, what? That's it? Yeah, and you're not allowed to speak. You have no speaking role.
Yeah, I wonder like if he was yours, in which case how cool is it that you know what your guardian angel looks like?
Yeah.
Or was he just like a random person on the clock as a guardian angel?
Who
And
just
like
happened to be.
and now whenever you think about like being safe, you think about that guy, but he was like just an intern. He was unpaid, you know, like he was like he's just a random guy and you're not actually
he's
thinking
just
about
an
your real
extra.
guardian angels.
Wow.
Anyway, we do have ourselves an official theme here, because the third story I have for you is called Third Man Syndrome Experience, not clickbait.
You realize, person who said that immediately makes me think it's actually clickbait. Like,
I know.
I don't know why you would write that.
I feel like it's like my mom, brand new to the internet, who's like, this is something you do want to see 100%. Don't question it.
Sure.
This is from Monica, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And Monica says, howdy, I was listening to M's 101 class on third man syndrome, and I think my family might have had an experience similar to it. The twist is, though, that we actually know who it was. Whoa! So this answers my question right away. Back in 2015, my brother, there was another car accident coming up. My brother swerved to dodge a car that didn't look before turning left on the road he was on, and his car ended up sideways in a drainage ditch with the passenger side to the ground and him stuck seated at an angle in his chair by the seatbelt.
Jesus Christ.
In parentheses, wear your seatbelts.
Yeah.
Thank you for normalizing seatbelts.
Oh, they put that too?
Yeah.
Okay, this is making me nervous now, folks. I don't like when things like this keep repeating. So please put your fucking seatbelt on. Okay.
If there's a third one that happens in this episode, put your fucking seatbelt. Everyone just don't get in a car today.
I don't need a third one. Do it now.
Just buy a seatbelt and click it onto your office chair. According to him, he felt arms around the seat and someone holding him close when he jerked the wheel, and until the car came to a complete stop. So as soon as the accident was beginning, he felt someone hold him.
Like almost holding, like restraining him.
Like cradling him before the actual rest of the accident happened.
Wow.
His only injury was his knee due to his long-ass legs hitting the interior of the door. Someone else ended up calling emergency services, and my brother, ironically, had just started volunteering as an EMT.
Oh, no.
So he ended up calling
He's like,
our
hey,
mom.
Rob.
It's
when the
I know.
EMTs come.
EMT Brad, it's us again.
EMT Brad.
So he ended up calling our mom, who weirdly already had the phone in her hand about to call him herself, despite it being 6 a.m.
Weird.
Moms always know.
They know.
You see, she had just woken up in a panic because of a dream she had of our dad or our late grandpa coming to her and telling her, don't worry, I've got him.
Of her dad?
Of her dad, their late grandpa. So she had just dreamt her dad at 6 a.m. saying, don't worry, I've got him. And then seconds later, he called to say, I'm in a car accident.
Holy shit, while she's holding the phone. Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Literally, like, the goose cam is out of control today.
I'm camming
that
it.
was
I will
that
also
one's
say,
super creepy.
imagine, like, I'd be like, Dad, what the fuck? Got him from what? Saved him from what? Like, the panic of, like, don't worry, I got him. You're like, from what?
I'd be like, but how powerful are you? Because could you have just prevented this altogether? Like, why did we have to do this?
Maybe not. I don't know,
I guess not. I like how even like guardian angels, who I consider like nearly God level,
Right,
like in
like
terms of
spiritual-
power,
Right.
I'm like, how can you only get an alarm after the fact? Like, you aren't even told something's about to happen? I don't know how it works.
I don't know.
At least that time it was clear what the fuck he was talking about. A similar thing happened again in 2019, where he appeared to my mom again and dropped,
God.
she's okay, before disappearing.
This guy is really just loves to fucking leave people hanging. He loves a cliffhanger, you know?
This is literally me as a ghost, where I'm still desperate to like be in the limelight for a second.
You just want the drama. Yeah, I know you. Yeah.
I was traveling. So in context, I was traveling in New Orleans at the time and got a call from my mom saying, "Are you okay?" And turns out I was third on the list of people Mom called frantically trying to figure out who the hell he meant with "she's okay." I like how your own kid is third on the list.
True.
My theory, and the one we stuck with, was he meant my cousin's grandma on their dad's side who had died 3 days before. So he only came back to say she's doing okay.
Okay.
I think he was coming down to let us all know she made it over all right in the most unhelpfully helpful way that he could.
Right? Like,
So-
you're just causing some drama at this point.
So
Wow.
yes, that's the story of a possible third man syndrome experience and a mini bonus grandpa story. I have others to write in that I have personally experienced, some backed by my mom years later, but that's all for now, folks. Can't wait to see what y'all have cooked up for 2024, Monica.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow.
It's like, Grandpa, just can you add 2 or 3 more clarifying words?
Like just say like the name. Give me a
can
name.
you say Betty's okay? You know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
why the vagueness of it?
Also, like if you're able to do it for Betty, you better be doing it for every other person who dies in this
also
family.
that. I wonder.
'Cause
Yeah.
What if you can't do it for like the person you're really worried about on the other side, but you can do it for Betty, who like
It's
never even
weird.
brought good food to Thanksgiving? You know?
It like makes you wonder like what their scope is. Like how far can they
Yeah. It's like I
reach?
feel like they're all kind of standing in front of like a Monsters Inc. door, and only when the light turns red above the door can they
Right.
enter to give you some random news, and they're just picking whatever's relevant at the time. But
They're
then
like,
if the
okay, I
doors,
have 5 seconds. Yeah.
I had 5 seconds on this exact day, so what could I possibly have to tell
You're
you?
like, I
and
guess
then they
so and
just
so's cousin died. I guess I'll update them on that. It's like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Wow.
Anyway, thank you, Monica.
Okay, so this one is called, oh my lord. Well, we are taking quite a 180. This one is called My First Martini Was Bought by a Hired Hitman.
Okay, was the hitman the third man? I don't understand. Is
Maybe
there we had a theme, and now Eva said, "How
That's
about
classic.
actually fuck it?"
Classic Eva. She said,
I know.
oh, you found a theme? Well, how's this?
Absolutely.
Let's see. This is from Leah. She, her. It says, hello, my favorite babies.
Hello.
And Eva. My name is Leah. You recently asked for true crime stories, so I figured I would finally contribute considering I feel like y'all are my friends. Also, I wrote this draft up in what had to be 2019 or 2020, so leave it to me to finally get the guts to send this in 2024. Wow, that is a long, it's like 4 or 5 years.
A while.
I moved to Texas from North Carolina in 2011, the year of my 21st birthday. That's the year of your 21st birthday.
That's the truth.
I think. Yeah.
That was my 19th.
Oh, that's the year of Blaze's 21st birthday.
Okay.
I'm not good at math.
I like how I went, that's the truth.
You were like, yes. And everyone was like, wait, what? Oh,
Yeah,
God.
no, I
that's
turned 19 that year.
embarrassing. Okay. Well,
Good year, by the way. Great year.
2011. I had a terrible time. Okay.
19 was one of my favorite years.
Congratulations. I moved to Texas from North Carolina in 2011, the year of my 21st birthday. So naturally, that entire year consisted of me trying every bar in town. One of the bars in town was a martini bar. I love a martini bar. And of course, 21-year-old Leah needed to try this out. While I was sitting at the bar with my friend, an older man sitting a seat or so down overheard us discussing that it was our first time there. He introduced himself, small talk, suggested some martinis, and then bought our first martini. No big deal. In the following summer, oh my God, so literally that's the extent of their interaction. This is just crazy.
Oh,
already.
okay. You just bought them a martini.
Just said like, have a nice night, you know. In the following summer of 2012, there was a doctor murdered in a neighboring city. Long story short, there was a whole ABC 2020 episode about this particular story. It's called A Last Dance in Texas and aired in 2016. I also just found out there was a Dateline episode as well. He was a victim of a love triangle gone wrong. His girlfriend's former boyfriend, also a doctor, was jealous of her moving on. Actually, quite sure I remember this
Really?
episode. I don't know. There's a lot of love triangles. I might be confusing with a different one.
At
Or a
some
love
point, the
rhombus or
triangles
two.
become like big ass rhombuses, or like
Yeah, just big rhombuses floating around. I don't know
they just
anymore.
web into a big geometric something.
A beautiful, piece of art. So, His girlfriend's former boyfriend, also doctor, was jealous of her moving on and actually hired someone to kill the new boyfriend. The hired hitman was paid 3 silver bars and given a box of expensive Cuban cigars in return for killing her new boyfriend. Pawn shop records show that he had cashed silver bars the day after the murder. Not very smooth.
Mm-mm.
It totaled out to not even be $8,000. Of course, being in the city that the jealous ex had hired hitman were from, mugshots were all over the news, and I recognized the dumb hitman as none other than the man who had bought me my first martini.
Wow.
That is so crazy. That is crazy.
That's
Holy
also
shit.
the fact that killing someone does like the idea of paying someone $8,000 for that kind of crime is like not fucking worth it to me. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what the price would be, but certainly if I found out I was getting killed for only less than $8,000, I'd be pissed.
It wasn't even $8,000. It was fucking silver bars. And like,
And
what are you going to do with
cigars.
that? What are you going to do with silver bars except go to a pawn shop and then you're caught immediately? Like,
The idea if I found out that was the price that someone paid to kill me, I'd be like, I thought I was fucking worth more than
that's
that. But whatever.
embarrassing. Yeah, that's
It's-
rough.
Also,
But I wonder if the guy said like, "Oh, these silver bars are worth like $200,000." You know,
Well,
like
sure.
we don't know if he like fucking talked it up or.
But also, like, this experience at the martini bar must have been one hell of an experience because I would never remember the face of somebody I had a 2-second interaction with a year ago if I saw them on TV today.
Well, I mean, it said that they talked for a bit. I don't think it was like a 2-second thing. I mean, let's see.
That's right. They did the
It's-
small talk thing.
Yeah, an older man. He introduced himself. We small talked. He suggested some martinis, and then he bought us our first martini.
Okay,
So-
so maybe, yeah.
I imagine
I was about
it
to be really
probably-
impressed with her memory.
Maybe he was just had that kind of a face where you're like, man, I know that guy.
This fucking guy looks like a hitman. Yeah. And this guy looks like a martini man.
This guy looks like he smokes Cuban cigars in this martini bar. It actually does kind of match. So it turns out that in the 2020 episode, they said that the martini bar was where they would meet up and discuss their murder plans. So this
shut up. Oh my
literally
God.
frequented this place as a hitman. Holy shit. She said, I already knew it was him, but after watching that episode, it definitely confirmed it. Yeah. So now there's like no
1000%.
doubt anymore. Get this, the hitman confessed to killing him for the silver bars to the cops on video. However, once put on the stand, denied he was hired and claimed it was all his decision.
What?
What? So
he was threatened into silence about someone else wanted him to do it. He just decided to do it.
hired and claimed it was all. Say who was denied he was hired and claimed it was all his own decision.
I feel like
murder?
he got threatened. Like the guy who hired him was like, I know people in jail who will hurt you. You have to make it like get me off of their off their trail and just say that you did it, and I'll make sure you're safe in jail when you go.
Wow. Okay. I see what you're saying. So he claimed this was all my idea. Don't worry. I wasn't hired by anybody. And then this is what Leah says next. So, said dum-dum who bought my drink and killed the innocent doctor is in prison for life now with no chance of parole. And then she says, so there's that. I really never was scared of the hitman. I just find it crazy that I've actually met a murderer. He is a dumb murderer, but hey, it's something. Thanks for being my friends to listen to at work, as well as during the 24-hour trip I take back and forth from Texas to North Carolina. I've been listening since 2017, our birth
my
year.
gosh.
Beautiful. And I feel
Aw.
like I've watched your friendship blossom. Give Geo, Judy, Moonshine, and Lemon some love from me. Wow.
Oh God.
Wow.
That's very sweet. And also like it's one thing to like know a murderer, but to know someone theoretically before they'd ever murdered is even its own weirdness of like, oh, I knew you
That's
before I needed
so-
to be worried, or like if I looked back, I should have noticed something. I don't know.
That's true because it happened, she said, the year after. But it makes you wonder, like, maybe he's been doing, if he was a hired hitman, I wonder if this is just,
Right.
I wonder if it's his first time. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it makes
maybe
you
not.
wonder like how many did you get away with? And like were you at that martini bar discussing a hit as you ordered my drink from me?
Whoa, yeah. What was he doing there?
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right, our next one, you could not be more right, Christine. We have fully shifted things
Oh,
because
okay.
this subject line is toilet exorcism.
I thought we were leaving potty problems in the past.
No. So this is Patty, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And Patty says, ahoy, hoy, Eva and crew. Okay, that's a new one.
Ahoy hoy?
Ahoy, hoy.
That's what it says? Wow, okay.
It says it. Ahoy, hoy.
Ahoy hoy. Right
you know
back
what?
at ya.
10 out of 10 for originality because we've done this quite a long time and
That's a new one. Yeah.
My name is Patty and I have a pseudo spooky story for you. Last week, my best friend's mom gave me 3 weed brownies that she had baked herself.
Yes.
Friday night, I decided to have some, but wasn't thinking, and I ate the whole fucking brownie.
No. Is there not? Come on.
I was feeling pretty good for a little bit, and then my vision started to get dark, and I realized I needed to throw up. I ran to the bathroom, threw the seat up, puked my guts out. At this point, it's hitting me hard.
Yeah.
I had been texting a friend, and I couldn't even focus on the screen when I tried to message her back. I'm continuing to vomit, and I just shut my eyes for a minute, and this is where it gets very scary for me. When I open them, I'm looking at my puke, and I see a small pentagram rotating slowly in the toilet. Girl, you're tripping. You are tripping balls.
Eva's like, that sounds like what happened to me at the Radisson last week.
I know. I thought I said that we were done with the gruesome stories, but never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see a pentagram rotating slowly in the toilet.
Made out of vomit. Oh my God.
I'm frozen with fear, and the only thing I can think to do is close my eyes and hope that it goes away. I eventually muster the courage to open my eyes, and there's a fucking goat head swirling around the bowl. Obviously, the best course of action was to close my eyes and hope his demonic ass would be gone when I opened them again. While I'm resting over the bowl with my eyes squeezed shut, I start thinking that maybe I was possessed and I vomited up a demon, and that's why he's in my toilet bowl.
Oh, girlfriend. Oh my God.
Then my paranoid ass starts to worry that having just had my toilet exorcism, I'm now more susceptible to an alien abduction. What fucking brownie recipe is this?
Also, like, I'm going to call your mother-in-law or whoever this is and be like, she's on the blacklist. There's no more brownies for her.
I'd be like, you know what? She made some potent she made sure you were going to have a good time, and you took it too fucking far. With
I was going to say, good time or just a time indeed.
So I can't imagine tripping that hard. I'm now susceptible to an alien abduction. I'm in full panic mode that I'm going to open my eyes and there will be a little group of grays standing in my bathroom.
There is now because you're literally creating it. It's horrible. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, I hope I don't see that. Well, of course now you're going to see it. Oh God.
I'm in full panic mode that I'm going to open my eyes and there will be a little group of grays standing in my bathroom watching me violently toss my cookies. One more time, I summon the mental strength to open my eyes, absolutely bracing for the worst. And to my pleasant surprise, I'm alone in the bathroom and I have a brilliant idea. If I just flush the puke, the demon will be gone. I get that. Like all the energy from this experience is out of reach.
Sure.
I reach up and flush and then lean back against the wall with vomit on my face, absolutely cackling at my own genius. Like this is a mad scientist.
She's like, I've done it.
This is your villain origin story.
Girl.
Anyway, I threw up for another hour or so before I started to feel human again, and I finally showered and then ate 3/4 of a loaf of jalapeno cheddar focaccia bread and fell asleep.
Oh, that sounds good.
Please feel free to forward this to the Vatican's Department of Exorcisms for further evaluation. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to read this and for making such a wonderful show. Much love, Patty. P.S. Weed is legal where I live, if that's important for y'all not to get in trouble. Well, it's very nice of you to think of, but it sounds like you're still a little paranoid from the trip, my friend. But
yeah, don't worry.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate
Patty,
it as well. What
Patty,
the fuck? Okay, but
you need like a hot compress, cold compress, therapy, a hug, and a trophy. Like,
hey, maybe that cowboy. This should be a third man cowboy with a washcloth for you. Also,
maybe
I
the goat head was Patty's third man.
Maybe. Not to make you more paranoid that like now your guardian angel is literally
flushed down the toilet.
Baphomet or whatever. Well, you know the story, right, of my brother's weed overdose or whatever. It's like really similar. Patty, you need to listen to, I think it's a Beach Too Sandy episode. I think it was the one where we got high and read reviews, and it was a crazy episode. But he, at one time, I'll just briefly sum it up, but I think, Patty, you and Alexander have a lot to discuss. He, on his birthday, took an edible and then was like, I barely feel it, and then took another one, of course, which is how these things happen. And he came downstairs and he's like, there's something wrong with me. And I was like, oh no. And so it turns out he was tripping so hard he thought he was in purgatory. Like, he literally believed he was trapped in purgatory. And so he's like, and he was in his bed and he's like, I couldn't move. I couldn't feel my arms. I couldn't move my body. I thought I was in purgatory. We went to Catholic school. You can see why this would have come up. But I want to do a little study here, Patty. Like, did you also grow up in the Catholic Church? Because it sounds like there's a lot of similarity here.
You definitely have a lot of shame around the occult in some way.
There's something happening. Subconsciously. But yeah, so he thought he was in purgatory. It was a whole thing. And then eventually he finally made his way to me. And I was like, oh no. And like, at that point I had never smoked weed in my life, really. So I didn't have any clue what I was doing. So I started Googling like how to come down off of a high, like a bad high. And so the first link I found was Willie Nelson's advice. And I was like, well, he must know, So I'm like,
obviously.
Okay, obviously. So I'm like, Billiam, help me. Okay, so I clicked the link for Willie Nelson's page or what quote, and it says, oh, you need to eat black pepper. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, Alexander, lay in my bed. I put him in my bed. Blaze was at work, of course. And I'm like, lay in my bed. Don't move. I'm going to go get pepper. And he's like, okay. And he thought, okay, he tells it now. And he's like, Christine went downstairs. And he's like, and to me, she was gone for hours. He was like, she just never came back. And then like hours later, she appeared. And I'm like, I literally ran as fast as I could, whipped open the kitchen cabinet, grabbed the pepper of like a Trader Joe's like pepper grinder and ran upstairs. And then I had a bowl and I started like cracking pepper into it. And I was like, eat this. So stupid. Anyway, it was like a terrible birthday for him. And it was really scary because I was like, Alexander, I don't know how to help you. Like, I literally ran out downstairs for like a minute and a half and he thought I was gone for hours. I was like, oh God, this is so scary. Which is another reason it took me many years to even try weed again. I was like, I don't think so. But in the end, I ended up getting him back to bed and like he went to bed and I was like, whoa, that was dramatic. And then that night I went to brush my teeth and my bathroom is just covered in vomit. Like when I had gone downstairs, I guess for that like 2 minutes, he just like puked all over the place. And then he went back and laid down and he to this day is like, I have no memory of that. Like he's like, it must have been me, obviously. But he's like, I don't remember puking. But like, I just went to brush my teeth and I was like, what the fuck? Like he had vomited everywhere. Anyway, I'm sorry that this is such a body fluid heavy episode, but I couldn't get away from the similarities of like seeing a pentagram, thinking you're in, purgatory, and only Willie Nelson can save you.
Only Willie Nelson can help you.
God. Anyway, sorry that was such a long rant, but wowza.
No, you're good. We've got one last one, and it's
Is it okay? Is it my one?
It's yours.
Okay. Here it is. It's called In the Spirit of Valentine's Day. Oh, right. This is probably our most romantic episode ever.
That's why we talked about conception at some point. Oh, wait, that was not in this episode.
Oh,
Wait.
that was not even.
Let's talk
we
about
just
it.
talked a lot about puke. Just vomit. That's all.
A lot of puke.
Very, very. I'm sorry for the folks who have like a phobia of that. Clearly it's too late now.
I really thought that all my talking about me was
I did too.
all we were going to get. I didn't know how.
It really wasn't. I want to say I did not say it. Em said it when Em said, oh, this is the worst you'll hear.
I thought that was true. I didn't know I was going to be challenged so intensely.
I almost said, so you think or something, but I was like, well, obviously that's just a joke, but apparently it was not. Okay, sorry. Let's read this. This is the last one. In the spirit of Valentine's Day. Hi, Em, Christine, and crew. I've been listening to the podcast for close to 4 years as I made my way through college and onto my first job. As I caught up on recent episodes, I was surprised to hear you mention Galena. Oh my God.
We just talked about Galena in our last
that.
episode where we talked about conception.
Where we talked about our most romantic episode. Galena, Illinois, considering it is less than an hour from my childhood home, where my story today originates. A truly beautiful area if you ever consider moving. I mean, I am considering.
I've looked at that Zillow. Galena does have my heart, so.
I'm ready. It was around 7 p.m. at night, and my brother and I were home alone at the farmhouse after my parents left for a Valentine's Day date. We have a noisy home that creaks and groans with the changing weather, same, so most of the time we don't associate the sounds with ghosts. With the freedom of an empty house, my brother and I decided to blast Rock Band on the Wii. Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Remember those days?
It's some of the best days of my life.
I'm really going to say, yeah, that's a good memory. I was always on drums, and he played the guitar. I love that clarity. Thank you. Oh, by the way, this is from Miranda, she, her. I haven't even said that yet. Okay, as we rocked out to Don't Stop Believin', we both heard a loud clang in the kitchen. We looked at each other with wide eyes, confirming we both had heard this sound. We promptly paused the game, listening for more, when the sound of banging pans and dragging chairs sounded again.
Oh my God.
That's not good. The TV room was 2 rooms away from the kitchen, and since run-ins with ghosts weren't unheard of with my siblings, we jumped up and ran to the kitchen to see what caused the commotion. Ew! Okay.
What?
The chairs were pushed perfectly up to the table, making me think the chairs had been pulled out and then pushed back in. And the cabinet doors to the pots and pans were all wide open.
Poltergeist. Absolutely
Forget
not.
it.
A Galena poltergeist. Get out of here.
I love that. Terrified, my brother and I ran out of the house and took cover in the woods nearby. If the woods are less scary than your house,
You've got a problem.
You're saying something, yeah. Terrified, my brother and I ran out of the house and took cover in the woods nearby, certain that anything that lurked in the woods was less frightening than what was in the house. After about 30 minutes of shivering, we thought that our only alternative was to go back inside, grab a lighter, and start a fire outside. I feel like you're turning into a boxcar child. You're like, well...
I was going to say, like, what survival show do you think you're on all of a sudden?
It's like the time my mom lost me and my brother in the grocery store, and like I told him we were orphans now because I was like, this is our life. And like,
can you imagine if you told him that while he was in the middle of thinking he was in purgatory?
I literally scarred him for life as a 4-year-old. I think that would have just put him over the edge. Yeah, so I love this. They're like, we live out here now, you know? It's just such catastrophic thinking. I love it. Okay. We decided to go grab a lighter and start a fire outside until our parents came back. We made our way back to the house and went to the front door that led into the kitchen where we had exited after the commotion. I tried to open the door, but to my surprise, it was locked. Uh-oh. Considering it was a deadbolt, the only way to lock the door was with a key or by locking it from the inside, and the key was nowhere to be found. Even though we were still scared, we needed that lighter, so we walked around the house until we found a single unlocked window. We crawled through, grabbed a lighter, and fled. We waited by our fire. Okay, so you actually know how to make a fire. I would have been like, I'll start a fire.
Sounds like you're on top of it.
Yeah, I would have like set the woods on fire by mistake. So I'm glad you knew what you were doing. I've been like, I'll do it.
And then a goat head starts floating around you. It could get really bad really quick.
Here we go again. We waited by the fire until my parents came home and told them the story. I wasn't sure if they believed it at the time, but today I'm certain they did. They just didn't want to frighten us by confirming it. This house has been in my family since the 1800s, so I'd like to believe it was just my ancestors trying to get us to turn off the loud rock and roll music. I love that. You're like singing Journey and they're like, enough. Okay. Or maybe just tidying up the kitchen. Who knows? I've had plenty of supernatural occurrences in the house, from footsteps behind me, figures in the windows, a ghost kitten, and more, but I never felt threatened, and over the years they've bothered me less. I think a protective supernatural energy clings to the house. Thank you so much for everything you do on And That's Why We Drink. You spread awareness about a lot of hard issues with understanding and comedy. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day. Sincerely, Miranda.
Aww.
Wow. That's really kind,
lovely.
Miranda.
I am interested in this ghost kitten, but none of the others.
I know.
I know. You know, what would you do if one day you and Blaze are gone, knowing what your house is capable of, and Leona says that, like, she locked herself out of the house willingly because of some creepy ghost stuff? Do you confirm it or be like, oh, that's silly, and just try to hide her from it?
I mean, I would never, like, dismiss it. I'd probably just be like, tell me exactly in detail what happened. Like, I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, I think I would try to get to the bottom of it and hopefully find something that explains it, you know? Like,
I feel like it's moments like that where you have to teach her, like, to say out loud, like, no, thank you.
Yeah, right. Like to set personal boundaries, which I would teach anyway, like for the true crime side.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know, Em. I mean, I'll find out, I guess.
I
Knowing
have a
what my
feeling you
house
will
is
at some
capable
point.
of, as you say.
Oh, well, thank you, Miranda, for our Valentine's Day wish. That's very
Aw.
lovely. Are you doing anything for Valentine's Day, Christine?
Yeah, I think Blaze and I are just going out for a romantic dinner on a new rooftop restaurant that opened near us.
Nice.
What are you up to?
I don't know. I already asked Allison to be my Valentine, and
That's so sweet. What did she say?
I was wondering what she'd come up with because I thought she'd have some real asshole wit about
Some
her. I thought
zinger.
something slick was going to come out, but she just said yes. That was very nice.
Oh, hooray!
So I don't know what we're going to do, but I feel like I've now put pressure on myself by asking it all. So
Well, now
I guess I
I
have to
feel
do
like
something.
I'm like the asshole who didn't ask Blaze to be my Valentine. I just kind of took it for granted.
I found this card that was it was I'll have to take a picture and send it to you, but it was it was like the code that teenagers would use back in the olden Victorian days, and it was like based on how the stamp is on your card on your envelope.
Are you
it was
serious?
It was like flirting code, I guess.
And that's real?
Apparently. And so that was I found a card that actually just listed what all the code words meant, and so I made her a card and put the stamp in the
That's
right spot and all that.
so sweet. I've never heard of that. That sounds like a deep dive for tonight, I tell you what.
Yeah. And so
I love that shit.
Anyway, so that's how I asked her with
Victorian stamp placement
a
romance.
flirtation guide. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, bye, cruel world. I have plans.
Hello, rabbit hole.
Hello, dark black hole that I will fall into tonight.
So I made the card I put the stamp the right place and asked her, but then I didn't get any further than that. So now I'm gonna have to go make a reservation somewhere, I think. So
Yeah, you know what?
Anyway.
I said, oh, we're going to this nice rooftop bar. And then I was like, wait a second. I tried to get a reservation and they were like, 9:30 p.m. okay? And I was like,
Oh.
no, I'm tired by then. So I should probably look for another nice rooftop. He's going to hear this
Yeah.
go, what rooftop? And we're be like, no, I meant this Arby's is what I meant.
It's actually
Yeah.
your rooftop on your
It's
house.
my rooftop, Blaze. It's your
Yeah.
rooftop. Get up there and clean the gutters.
You could you could do a little candlelit thing on your roof on your top balcony thing.
Oh, the balcony. I was like, how do I get up there? Yeah, okay. Balcony. Let's
Be
stick to
nice.
that. Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope you have a sweetheart if you want one, and if you don't, whatever. Be your own sweetheart.
I'm here for the taken. No?
Yeah. Oh, you hear that?
I thought you were offering us up, so I was like, all right, we'll be your Valentine, and then
We'll be
you
your
kinda
sweethearts. And also, Christine apparently needs a reservation to a rooftop bar. So if you've got one, she's in.
help me.
And I guess we'll see you with the more listeners' stories that you can submit to our website. And
yeah.
that's how we get access to them. You can come to our live shows. We're back on tour. And otherwise, you'll catch another listeners episode from us on March 1st.
What are we celebrating then? St. Patty's Day?
St. Patty's, I guess. That's why we drink. It's going to be
Green beer. All right.
something. Yeah. All
See you
right.
then.
And
That's
why
we.
drink?